Welcome to the fascinating world of traffic signals. Today we are attempting to move an entire mast arm off of one foundation to another. And the reason being is because the old foundation got twisted during a hurricane. We are on a project trying to repair all the damages from said hurricane. So we have a new foundation set in place, and we're using two of our digger trucks to pick up this entire mast arm and swing it down to the new foundation. Now, guiding the shaft from the old foundation to the new one is kind of the easy part. Now, we have to align these anchor bolts, and because that shaft was twisted out of whack, and now we have to exactly get it perfectly squared back up with the road and these new anchor bolts we have set in place, it gets real tedious, and there's a lot of motions happening at once that we got to keep twisting this pole to get it to sit just perfect on these anchor bolts. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to use some leverage to hold this shaft in place right on top of these anchor bolts, while Anthony directs the two operators to simultaneously move at once with the two digger trucks and line this pole up and get it a little bit more squared up with these anchor bolts so that when we do drop the pole down, it sits down on the bolts like it should. Now, once this pole is as squared up as we can possibly get it with these anchor bolts, it's time to make an attempt of dropping the shaft down and setting it on top of the bolts, where we can now tighten it down and have this thing held in place by this foundation. And there we go, we have touchdown. The shaft is landed on the anchor bolts. Now all we got to do is work it all the way down the bolts and go ahead and get our top nuts on, start tightening these things down, and we're going to call this thing its permanent home. Now it's time to just tighten up this shaft, get this corner cleaned up, get these trucks racked up, cleaned up as well, and get them out of the road, and get everything picked up here on this corner and power back to these signal heads on this pole. But we still have a lot more planned for tonight. We got to get a cabinet swapped and some signals swapped out in the field. So y'all make sure to follow and stay tuned for that video coming very soon. We had a big workload tonight. We made it happen. And I hope y'all enjoyed this fascinating process of what we got going on here. And as always, thanks for watching.